That's just the crux of the issue. There are a lot of them on the market, and they're expensive. And you would normally, if you couldn't afford that card, you would try and go another route, which is maybe getting a booster box, which is just as expensive as the card, because that's what's really determining the value of these booster boxes, is this chase card in this set. Whereas if you look at this evolution set, the chase card in this set is this Charizard, and it is around $740. And the booster boxes for this is around $1750. I think that's still too expensive. I think that this is all expensive. I'm not trying to say that this card deserves more money and this card deserves less. I'm saying you should question it all because of the population reports. Now, you can even nitpick me and go, well, Charizard, there's less. And yeah, it's true. There's like 10,000 less graded copies in a 10. But from historically what I've known, because I research this year after year and I look at the pricing of my cards and see where they're at, this Charizard has always had an active population of about 100 listings on eBay. When I've looked at this Umbreon card historically, there have been about 100 listings as well. The reason why there's hundreds of listings and this card doesn't have like just 5 active listings or 3 or 7 or 10 or something around there is because the population of it. There are way too many cards out on the market of this. In addition to this, of them already being graded, there are plenty of booster boxes readily available to purchase. Because if you can't get this card that you want, the other route is you can try and get a booster box. But if you have 100 cards listed year after year, eventually things are going to tank in price, and they will. They will go down in price because there isn't a lot of competition amongst sellers. When I look at some eBay listings on cards that I'm interested in, I'll oftentimes see a card that's like $500. Okay, one person has a listing on eBay for a card for $500 that I want, and another person has a listing on eBay for a card that I want for like $100. And it's the card that I want. It's just what I want. So of course I look at those two listings and I go, well, of course I'm gonna get the $100 card. It's all both graded in 10 and PSA, and they both look exquisite and they both look good. And this guy only wants 100 for it, so I buy the $100 card. But when you have 100 different listings, you're gonna see a lot of variation. You're gonna see someone that's gonna go, hey, I have that card for $2,300, and then someone who might need money in a flash, they might go on eBay and they go, well, I'll throw mine up for $2,100 and someone will buy it. And someone does, because logically, if you're looking at listings as a buyer, you're going to go, wow, this is significantly cheaper. And then you're going to hop on it. And what prevents that from happening, where you're going to see downturn, is the populations of the cards. How many are out there? Okay. So like I said, the scenario is that there are a lot of listings, there's a lot of cards, someone wants to sell one fast, sell it quickly, they throw it on, it's cheaper because they want to make quick money, then it drives down the value, and then it's going to have a historic selling point where someone sold it for $100 less. Now let's say a lot of people get in trouble, and a lot of people are not interested in the Pokemon hobby anymore, and a lot of people are just done and want to, take that $2,000 and buy a used car, or go take a really nice vacation, or take that money and reinvest it, I don't know, in fucking Bitcoin. I don't know. People do whatever they want with their liquidity. You're going to have a lot of people who throw cards on the market looking for a quick sale. They're going to look for a quick buck. And what they're going to do is that they'll take a compromise. Now, they're not going to compromise like half their profits, but they may compromise like 10%. And you don't know when people bought in on this card. Some people, I remember this Umbreon being about like $300 on first release, and it's done nothing but gone up. So there's lots of people out there who got this card for about $300 to $500, and they would sell it for about $1,000. They could sell them for $1,000 and they'd be up 700, maybe 500 bucks, 700 bucks. And there's a lot of people like that. And there's a lot of people who bought in at like $700 that would sell it for $1,000 and make $300 profit. And a lot of people who bought in at $900 and they'd sell it for $1,300 and make $400 profit. There's a lot of people who would go low, and that is the issue that you are not seeing, and that's the issue that I know about because of the historical data of what I've seen with this own card. This Charizard, I've sat and I've watched it go up to 150 at the peak back in like 2016 and about 2017, and that's for a PSA 10. 150 for about a PSA 10, and it fizzled down to about 70 bucks, 72 bucks. And that was in 2017. And then it kind of coasted up maybe about to like 100, 125 up until about 2019. So like 2 years later, it gains about like 25, 50 bucks in value, which I would consider kind of normal, you know. Things are going to get bought and sold. There is a big active population, and there were always listings for it, but that's something I would see as kind of like organic. And then the Pokemon market hits, and the COVID hits, and this card goes up $300 to $400. And at that time, I was like, "Wow, that's a lot." And you know, I was looking at the population report, and I was like, "Is this card really worth $300 or $400?" Even though I love it and I love seeing my money go up, do I deeply believe that this card is valued at that? And the answer is no. And of course, at the time, I wouldn't have declared that. If I were trying to sell my card, I would just sold it for the $300, $400, call someone a sucker, and take my money elsewhere. And then after that happened, after COVID, it settled down to about $175 to $200. So it went like triple or quadruple the price. Then after that quadruple, it went half the price. And now if we're looking at now, it's now 3x or about 4x the price, which the active population has always kind of stayed at about 100. You know, there's always 100 of these cards available for sale on eBay. So that's when you have to start questioning the pricing. You know, why is the pricing this way? And it's just because of supply and demand, and I guess the demand is up. So what happens when the demand goes down? Because historically, when the demand goes down, this card has gone down in value. And there's going to be a point in time where the demand will go down for this Umbreon card. And I will love that day, and I will revel in that day because I was right, and I still am right to this day. It's overpopulated. It's too high of pricing. People are stupid. It doesn't make sense. There are plenty of cards readily available in the hundreds already graded. There are tons of booster boxes readily available. Just like on this Charizard, there are tons of PSA 10s readily available, just like there are tons of booster boxes available. And none of it makes sense on pricing and organic growth. And that's why you should question the pricing. And that's why I've talked about, how the market's kind of ruined, is because there's too much shit graded. There's too many people who are sitting on booster boxes thinking that they're pariahs, and they think that they think they're cutting edge, and they think that they know better. And yeah, of course, if you save something for 10 years and it's rare, then genuinely it's rare. But when everyone's doing it, the long-term market says that it is questionable at the least, and probably not as profitable as you think it could be, and will go down in value eventually. So that's why I fucking hate the Umbreon card. Even though I love the art, I love the art, I hate the card, and I hate what's going on with it as far as the market in that aspect. And it really just drives home the big issue of Pokemon, because it's not only this Umbreon card, it's a lot of the new shit that's come out in the last 5 years, where it's overinflated in pricing, overgraded, and too many motherfuckers are holding booster boxes, thinking that they're going to make it big. And I think that they're stupid. And I think people are stupid for buying into their bullshit. Thank you.